Hello everybody and welcome to this instruction video. In this video I'll be showing you how to make this granny. This granny is from week 2 of the Crochet Along from Scheepjes. To make this granny you need of course the pattern, and that is this pattern. It is the Scheepjes Crochet Along pattern for week 2. This design has been made by Wink. Her website is called A Creative Being, winkyflash.nl. I'll put a link in the description below the video where you can download this pattern. And of course this crochet along has been made possible by Scheepjes wool. To make this design of course you need yarn, and if you want to make it in one of the colors from the crochet along, you need either one of the two pre-selected color packages. If you're making your grannies in color package 1, you will be using this yarn. This is cotton 8 by Scheepjes wool, and the color code you need is color 663. It's a lovely green color, very soft green color. If you're making your granny in color package 2, you will be using this yarn, also cotton 8 from Scheepjes wool, and then you need color 651, a lovely soft purple color. In this video I'll be using this one, the purple yarn, and it's a nice light cotton yarn. We'll be making a design which contains popcorn stitches and double crochets. I will walk you through the popcorn stitches, how to make them, and a lot of success with making your own grannies, and I really hope you enjoy this video and it's useful for you. Round 1 of the granny starts with a magic ring, and this ring we're going to do exactly the same as in the first granny. I'm going to start with chain 3, which is of course the first double crochet, 2, 3, and then make 2 double crochets in the magic ring, 1 and 2, chain 2, and repeat this 3 more times in the magic ring. So that's 1 double crochet, 2, 3, chain 2, and repeat again. Make it like so. 1 double crochet, 2, and 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and make the last series of 3 double crochets. It's 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, and at this point you can really pull that magic ring nice and tight to close, so. And we're going to enter into the first of the 3 chain stitches we made right at the beginning to close this ring, this round, like so. And that is the first round of the granny. Round 2 of the granny. In this round we're going to be making the first of the popcorn stitches, and we're going to be making them in each of the 4 corners of this granny as we are now. One thing to note, do not work too tight in the rows containing the popcorn stitches, then everything will bulge and become more round. You can fix a lot by blocking, but it just makes your life easier if you don't work too tight at this point in your granny. I'm going to start off with 4 chain stitches. The first 3 are of course for the first double crochet, so it's 1, 2, 3 chain stitches, and the 4th one is because we want to skip 1 stitch. I'm going to skip this center stitch here, and make 1 double crochet in the last of the 3 double crochets of the previous round. So here just before the corner I'm going to make 1 double crochet, like so, chain 1, and now we're ready to make our first popcorn stitch in the corner. I'm going to start by making first 5 double crochets in the corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like so. Now you're going to open up your loop nice and big so that no accidents happen to your loop. Take out your hook, and you're going to put your hook back in the first of the 5 double crochets. So go back to the first one, put your hook into that first stitch, like so. Pick up your loop again, pull tight, and bring your loop through the first stitch, like so. Chain 1, and you're done. Continue the rest of round 2. You're going to make a double crochet on the first stitch. Move your popcorn stitch aside to make sure you can really see that first opening properly. That's there. Like so. So really move that popcorn stitch aside if you cannot see that first stitch very well. Chain 1. Going to skip a stitch, which is the center stitch, and make a double crochet in the last of these 3 stitches, like so. Chain 1, and now you're ready to make another popcorn stitch in this corner here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 double crochets. So you can open up your loop, remove your hook, put your hook in the first of those 5 double crochets, back up your loop, close, pull tight, and bring through the first stitch. Chain 1, like so, and repeat on this side and on this side. So 1 double crochet in that first stitch. Move your popcorn stitch aside to make sure you can really see that where you want to go with that first stitch. 1 double crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, that's the center stitch, and make 1 double crochet on that third stitch, like so. Chain 1, and another popcorn stitch in the corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 double crochets. Open up your loop, take out the hook, put your hook in the first of the 5 double crochets, pick up your loop again, pull tight, and bring through that first stitch. Make sure you get everything of your yarn, not just half of it, like so. Chain 1. Now we're going to repeat it for the last time on round 2. Move that popcorn stitch aside, make sure that you can see that first stitch where you're going to put in the first double crochet, chain 1, and then a second double crochet in the last stitch. I'm going to skip the middle one, in the last stitch 1 double crochet, so chain 1, and now our 4th popcorn stitch in this 4th corner here. So it's again 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So open up, remove your hook, put it back in the first of those 5 double crochets, pick up your loop again, close by pulling tight and bring through the first stitch, chain 1, and you're almost done with round 2. All you need to do now is join by connecting on the 3rd of the 4 chain stitches we have from the beginning. So pick up that 3rd chain stitch and close with the slip stitch. That's round 2 of the granny. Round 3 of the granny. We're going to start by chain 3, which is of course again in essence a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to, in this opening, chain 1 double crochet, chain 1 and another double crochet in this space. So that's 1 double crochet, chain 1 and a second double crochet, like so. A double crochet in this last stitch here, so that's over here. I'm going to make 1 double crochet, chain 1, and now we're up to another popcorn stitch. In this opening here of the chain 1 from round 2, we're going to be making a popcorn stitch. Move your popcorn stitch aside if you're having trouble seeing that opening, so you really know where you're going. Make 5 double crochets in that one space opening. So that's number 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll notice I'm working rather loosely, doing this on purpose to make sure that my final design is nice and flat. Open up my loop, remove the hook, pick up on the first of the 5 double crochets, pick up the loop again, tighten over my hook and close by bringing it through the first loop, the first stitch, and chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. Now we can make another popcorn stitch on the other side of the popcorn stitch from round 2. So now move that stitch to the other side to make sure you can really see the opening where you're going. So it's this opening here, this from the one space from round 2. In there I'm going to make 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So open up my loop, remove the hook, pick up at the first of the 5 double crochets, pick up the loop again, pull tight, bring through the first stitch and chain 1. Now we're going to repeat exactly the same on sides 2, 3 and 4. in this first stitch we're going to make a double crochet. If you can't see it properly, move your popcorn stitch to the side that you can really see that first stitch well. Now it can be a little hard to really pick up that first stitch immediately after the popcorn. So, one double crochet in the opening, one double crochet, space, chain one and one double crochet, chain one and a double crochet, like so. And in this last stitch here we're going to make another double crochet, so chain one, and now we can make again a popcorn stitch before and after a popcorn from round 2 with 3 chain stitches in between. So in that opening I'm going to make 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So open up, go back to the first of the 5 chain stitches, or double crochets I should say, pick up your loop, pull tight and close the popcorn stitch, chain 3, that's 1, 2, 3, and another popcorn stitch in the one space opening, like here, and that's be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So open up my loop, go back to the first of the 5 double crochets, pick up the loop again, close and chain 1. And we're going to repeat it a second time. So 1 double crochet in that first stitch, move your popcorn stitch aside really well to get into that first stitch. That'll be 1 double crochet in the opening, a double crochet, chain 1 and a double crochet, another double crochet in that last stitch here, this one, like so, and now we can make 2 more popcorn stitches around this stitch from row 2. So in that one space opening here I'm going to make 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Open up my loop, pick up at the first by entering in the first of the 5 double crochets, pick back my loop and bring through that first stitch, chain 1, 2, 3, and on the other side I'm going to make another popcorn stitch. Make sure we see that opening properly. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Oops, like so. Gonna open up and enter into the first double crochet, pick back my loop, pull tight and close the popcorn, chain 1. For the last repeat, move the popcorn stitch aside, make sure you can really see that first stitch, 1 double crochet in the first stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 1 and 1 double crochet in the opening, 1 double crochet in this last stitch, so, and our last 2 popcorns for this round, 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So open up my loop, go back to the first of these 5 stitches. By the looks of it, I have skipped the chain 1 between these 2 because I can see there's no opening in between here. I'll quickly take these out, pick it back up. There should be chain 1 and now the 5 double crochets. So 1. Do make sure you make those little chain 1 stitches because those are the openings you need, the spaces you need to be able to make double popcorn stitches in the next rounds. So if you do see that you've made a mistake, just take it out and go back to where it was last correct. And now I can see I've got a proper opening there. Close this popcorn, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and the last popcorn for this row. On this side, make sure I can really see that opening well. 1, 2 double crochets, 3, 4 and 5. So open up, go to number 1, pull through, so chain 1, and now we can close by entering into the third of these 3 chain stitches right from the beginning. Enter into the correct stitch and close with a slip stitch like so. That's round 2 of the granny. You notice that at this point I can already put it down flat. If yours is all round, work slightly looser because it will really make for a better end product. Round 2 of the granny, or I should say round 3. Round 4. We again start with 3 chain 3 for the first double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3. 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So it's this one here. I'm going to enter into and make a double crochet. Like so. In that opening, I'm going to make double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet, just as in the previous round. So in this opening, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So make 2 double crochets on the next 2 stitches. So also here, if needed, move your set of 2 double crochets aside that you really see that stitch that we are going into. So that's 1 and 2, like so. At this point you want to chain 1, and make a popcorn stitch in this opening here. So it's the one space from the previous round. 5 double crochets into this opening. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, and make a popcorn stitch by going back to the first double crochet and closing the stitch. Chain 2, 1, 2, and in this 3 chain opening we're now going to make another popcorn stitch. So here again 5 double crochets. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again make the popcorn stitch by going back to number 1 and closing. Chain 2, 1, 2, and a popcorn stitch on the other side. So that's in that one space opening here. Move this stitch aside to really get into that opening properly. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, and again close the popcorn stitch. So, and chain 1. Right, now this we're going to repeat on this side here. So we're going to start by making 2 double crochets in the first 2 stitches. Make again that double crochet, chain 1 double crochet in the center, 2 double crochets on the next 2 stitches, and then here in the corner we're going to make a popcorn stitch in the 3 spaces available to us with the appropriate number of chains between. Right, so first 2 double crochets on the first 2 stitches. Make sure to really move that popcorn stitch aside that you can really get into that first stitch. That's 1 and 2 double crochets in those first 2 stitches. Then in that one space opening a double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. So 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches. So that's 1 and 2. And now we can make the popcorn stitches again. So it's chain 1, and in that one chain opening make a popcorn. So that's 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Open up and close the popcorn. Chain 2, 1, 2. In the 3 chain opening make a popcorn stitch, and we are in this pattern making all our popcorn stitches with 5 double crochets. I'm sure that you've probably seen patterns with popcorn stitches containing 3 or 4 double crochets. That's all possible, but using 5s gives you a nice thick pattern, a nice and beautiful 3-dimensional pattern. So I'm going to close again and chain 2 and onto the last double crochet here, or series, to make a popcorn stitch. So that's again 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So open up, go back to number 1 of the series and close and chain 1. I'm going to repeat this 2 more times on this side here. So here you're going to make 3 popcorn stitches, the series of double crochets on the edge, and another 3 popcorn stitches, and I will meet you back up for the last of these 3 popcorn stitches just before we close the round. Now onto the last part of round 4. We've just gone round, made 3 popcorn stitches on all sides. Here I've just made 2. Now I'm going to make the last popcorn stitch after, because I've just chained 2. Make the last popcorn stitch in that last opening there of a chain 1 from the previous round. That's 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Open up by like so, go back to your first stitch, close your loop and close the popcorn stitch, chain 1, and then close this round by joining into the third of these 3 chain stitches right from the beginning. So that's the third stitch, and join with a slip stitch like so. And now round 4 is done, and you've also reached the maximum of these popcorn stitches. From now on we're going to be making them smaller again, so it's kind of a triangle idea here that we're going to be making. Round 5 of the granny. Start with chain 3, which is of course again a first double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, like so. 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches. So this is our first double crochet, and then second here. So make a double crochet in this space from previous round, that chain 1 space, 1 double crochet in there, so no longer this double stitch that we did in the previous round. Then 3 double crochets on the next 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, like so. And now we're not going to make a popcorn stitch in this opening, but we're going to make 2 double crochets. So in this space here, 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. So chain 2, 1, 2, and in this opening here we're going to be making a popcorn stitch. So 5 double crochets in that 2 space opening from the previous round. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, and of course popcorn, go back to the first and close. Between these 2 stitches we're now going to make 2 double crochets. As you see, my yarn is just split into a few bits. So I'm just going to close that loop again. Like so. That has got all wrong. So there are 3 double crochets and I'm going to make 2 more. If something goes wrong, just back up a little bit and do it again. So go back and close popcorn. There we go. Now it's good. Between the popcorn stitches we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, and we're going to make another popcorn stitch in this opening here. So that's 1, 2. After this you'll really be able to count to 5. I'm sure you're able to do this anyway, but after this you'll really be able to count to 5, because you'll be doing that continuously as you're making these popcorn stitches. And 5. So I always end up counting in my head when I'm doing these things, that somehow I can never really go onto autopilot. Chain 2, like so. So that's symmetry to this side, and here you're now going to be making 2 double crochets in that opening. So 1 and 2. So, and now you're in essence going to repeat the same thing again. I will show you one more edge and then fast forward to these 2 edges and we'll meet up at the end again. I'll quickly show you again. So we're going to make 3 double crochets on the first 3 stitches, double crochet in the middle, and 3 double crochets on the next 3 stitches, and again 2 double crochets in that opening, which means we're now going to have a whole lot of double crochets on one line. So that's 1, 2, 3 double crochets on those first 3 stitches, 1 double crochet in the one space opening from the previous round, so, and then another 3 double crochets on the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 2 double crochets in this one space opening just next to the popcorn, like so. Chain 2, and then we're going to make another popcorn in that opening over there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Close, chain 2, 1, 2, and another popcorn stitch on this side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets. We open up again, go back to the first stitch and close the popcorn stitch, chain 2, and then repeat. So I'm going to make a small jump in time, and I'll meet you up when we're on the point of this last popcorn stitch. So here you're going to again make a series of double crochets, a few chain stitches, make the 2 popcorn stitches in these 2 openings, and again double crochets, and we'll meet up here at the end of round 5. The end of round 5, just made the 2 popcorn stitches and the 2 chain stitches, so we're going to make 2 more double crochets in this opening here. That's that 1 space opening between the popcorn stitches and those first 3 chain stitches from the row start. So really make sure to create that opening. If you don't see it, make 2 double crochets into that space. It's 1 and 2, and we're going to close by joining in on the 3rd of these 3 chain stitches with a slip stitch. So, and join. Round 5 is done, and you can really see this granny getting on beautifully, and this beautiful 3-dimensional design is really starting to take shape. Round 6, I'm going to again start with 3 chain stitches for the first double crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to make 8 double crochets on these first 8 stitches. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on those 8 stitches we're going to be making 8 double crochets. So stick into that first stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You really want to keep on counting your double crochets. It's also a check that you haven't made any mistakes, and it also prevents you from making mistakes in the first place. In this opening, this 2 space opening from the previous round, we're going to be making 3 double crochets. So that's 3 in this opening here. That's 1, 2, 3, like so. Chain 2, and then make a popcorn stitch. That's chain 2, and make a popcorn stitch in this opening here. So this is our last round containing popcorn stitches, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, and close by opening up and going to the first double crochet and pull through. So chain 2 again, and now we're going to, after the popcorn stitch and the chain 2, I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So that's 3 double crochets in that 2 space opening, 2, 3, and now it's exactly the same as the first bit. I'm going to make 11 double crochets on these center 11 stitches, so all of those stitches. That is on this first stitch. Again, make sure you can see that first stitch properly. If not, move those series of 3 double crochets to the side and get that first stitch right. 11 double crochets on these 11 stitches. Keep on counting and make sure you get all of them. this is our last round containing popcorns, and after this the following rounds will basically be a lot of building up the granny to a square that is 18 centimeters square after blocking. So that is number 11. So in good practice, I quickly have to count these to make sure I have them all. So those are the first 3, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Check. And then 3 double crochets in that space, at 2 chain space from the previous round. So chain 2 and a popcorn stitch in the center of those 2 popcorn stitches from previous round. So we can make 5 double crochets in that space. I'm still crocheting reasonably loose to make sure that my popcorns have enough room and I can flatten it out easily when I'm done. So chain 2, 2, and repeat. Everything you've done now, going to repeat again on this edge and on this edge, and we'll meet back up for the last part of round 6. To the end of round 6, just made the 11 double crochets, chain 2, 1, 2, make the last final popcorn stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and open up, chain, go to the first of the 5 double crochets, pull tight and bring through that first stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, and here we're going, in this 2 space opening, we're again going to make 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. So, and on those first 2 stitches we're now going to make 2 double crochets. So that's on this stitch here, it's 1, and here is 2, like so, and then we're going to close this round with a slip stitch in the third of these 3 chain stitches from the beginning. Close with a slip stitch like so. Round 6, you're done with the popcorns, and from here you're basically going to be filling out your square to make a rectangle. Round 7, of course we're not making a rectangle, we're making a square. 3 chain stitches for the first double crochet, like so, and then 11 double crochets on the next 11 stitches. And I'm sure that you'll find the second part of this pattern, so without the popcorn stitches, pretty straightforward and relatively easier than the first 6 rounds of this pattern. So if you've reached this point of the pattern and you've succeeded, I'm convinced you'll be able to do the last 4 rounds as well. At this point it's just following the pattern and doing exactly step by step what the pattern says. So now we're going to make 11 double crochets in the next 11 stitches. so. So, and now to go around the corner, we need to make 4 double crochets in this 2 space opening here, chain 2, and then again 4 double crochets on this side of the popcorn stitch. That's how we're going to go around, or A, go around the corner, and B, create a nice sharp corner. Now we've got a bit of a round edge here, so we want to make that nice and sharp. So 4 double crochets in that 2 space opening. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So chain 2, 2, and then again 4 double crochets on the other side of the popcorn stitch in this 2 space opening here. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm going to make a jump in the video. So what you're going to do now is repeat this 3 more times. I'm going to give a double crochet to each of these next 17 stitches, make 4 double crochets in this opening, chain 2, and 4 double crochets in this opening. So, and then if I was go around the corner, 17 double crochets, 4 space 2, 4, and again, and I'll meet you up at the end of round 7 to close and look back at what we've done up till now. Last part of round 7, just done the 4 double crochets, chain 2, and 4 double crochets. So now the last few stitches all need a double crochet, and there's 5 in total on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches to the opening. So that's on that first stitch, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now we close with a slip stitch in the third of the 3 chains from the beginning. So join with a slip stitch like so, and that's round 7 of the granny. Round 8, we start in exactly the same way as all the previous rounds with chain 3, 2, 3, and then in all of the next stitches we make a double crochet. At this point it's quite a lot of stitches, and it's easy to have one too much or one too little. So in all of these next stitches you're going to make a double crochet, and that will be, at this point, let me just quickly look at the pattern, that will be 15 in total here, because you're slowly but surely having to build up this granny so that it has the same size as the one from week 1. And don't worry if they're not exactly the same after you've made them. Once you've blocked them, and you've blocked them both on 18 centimeters, they will be exactly the same. Like I said before, you can fix a lot by blocking. Looking at what we've made, it looks like a lovely flower pattern, lovely 3-dimensional pattern. This would be a great asset to your blanket. And 14, and like so, and the last one, which is number 15. So to go around the corner, you now make 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets in this opening here. So that's 1 double crochet, 2, 3, chain 2, gives you the nice sharp corner, and again 3 double crochets in that same opening. 1, 2, and 3. At this point I'm going to make a jump in the video, because what you need to do now is make 1 double crochet on each of these stitches. That is 25 in total. Keep on counting, go around the corner in the same way. So this corner here, I'm going to make 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets, and then repeat 2 more times on this edge and on this edge, and I'll see you when we close round 8. The last part of round 8, just gone round the corner with the 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. So on the last 9 double crochets, we're going to make 9 double crochets on the last 9 stitches of this round. So move the corner well to the side to make sure that you really get that first stitch. So that's 1, 2, and I really hope you've continued counting all of your double crochets, that you don't have any mistakes, because it's a lot to pull out at this point. If you notice that you've, for example, only done 2 double crochets in the corner instead of 3 or 4, then you really got to go a whole long way back, and that's of course very frustrating, especially if you've done that more than once. So keep on counting is my advice, and it'll be 8, and the last one is 9. So of course double check, so the 3 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so that's correct, and we close with a slip stitch in the third of the 3 chain stitches from the beginning. So rounds 9 and 10 I'm not going to show you on the video, because I'm sure that you really understand what's happening here. What you're basically going to do in both round 9 and round 10 is start with 3 chain stitches, 1 double crochet on each and every stitch, make the corner by going 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochet, and then continue with 1 double crochet on each and every stitch. Keep on counting is my advice, and I will see you right at the end to show you how we connect with a invisible join at the end of round 10. For the final part of this granny, I've just done rounds 9 and 10 by doing every stitch a double crochet and going around the corner with 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. Now onto the very last stitch. Now what you normally do is you do a slip stitch into this chain and close in that way. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the invisible closing method, also described in the tips and tricks of this crochet along. The last double crochet I'm going to close off by pulling my thread through that last double crochet, needle, put my yarn on a needle, and what you're going to do now is stick into not one of these 3 chain stitches, but into the first stitch immediately after that. So in that stitch I'm going to go in, and I always turn my work around and then enter through the top of this last double crochet. So pull tight. Don't worry that you pull too tight, you'll correct for that in a moment. And thread your yarn through the back, and do not worry that this is too long. It's rather too long than too short. Like so. Pull a little bit, push a little bit, make it all nice and smooth. Cut off where you have too much, and that makes for a very beautiful and effective join where you do not see the bubble from doing a slip stitch. That is Granny for week 2 of this crochet along. Stick around and I'll show you a few more variations that you could do to this granny, and also some tips and tricks. Okay, so we now reach the end of the pattern. You've made your granny and you've blocked it. After blocking, it will look something like this. After you've finished your granny, it won't look this perfect, of course. It'll look more something like this. This is one I've made earlier. You'll see a lot of waving and it's not very flat. Don't worry about this. After blocking, it will look like this, so everything will be fine. No stress. Looking at the design, I love this design. I love how this popcorn feels, and it's really very nice and very three-dimensional. But how my personal opinion, however, is that doing this design in one color doesn't do justice to this design, and that's why I've made my grannies for this crochet along in a different way. I've used 2 colors, where I've made the popcorn stitches a different color than the surrounding double crochets. I've done this in different color combinations. Here a soft white with a soft purple, purple pink color, or here a more salmon color with a brown color. Doesn't matter which color combinations, whichever you love. Really, the colors don't matter in this. But what I want to show you is how using a different color for the popcorns, they just literally pop more than if you do everything all in one color. And I will make a separate video showing you how to do this, how to work with 2 colors at the same time, so that you can have the popcorns in a different color than the surrounding double crochets. But nonetheless, looking at the original design, I think it's a lovely design, yet again by Wink, and I hope you've found this a useful video. I'll put a link in the description where you can download the original patterns, as well as visit my blog and read my experiences on this crochet along. Visit my blog on itsallinanutshell.wordpress.com, and until the next time, bye bye.